I'm Stephanie Fields. I'm with Mortgage Investors Group, and I'm a mortgage loan officer licensed in Tennessee and Kentucky. And my company has been around since 1989. We specialize and just really rock the residential mortgage world. So that is me. Shante Blunt with Purpose Realty and Auction is joining me this morning for some home buyer education. Shante, you want to tell us a little bit about you and your journey into the real estate business?
My name is Shante Blunt. I am a realtor with Purpose Realty and Auction. I know you heard it, but now you heard it again. My journey has been it's been an amazing one. It would be too much to put in all this video, just to be honest. So we won't do a deep dive on me. But ultimately, I am someone who's on a healing journey and feels pretty healed. And I want to carry others forward into home ownership because I realized that during this journey of healing, I'm here for a purpose. And that purpose is to help others.
Love that. Love that. I know, Shante, we do kind of share a little bit of a passion for educating and empowering people. And that's the purpose of this video. We want it to be out there so that any home buyer that has some questions, they can watch it, at any time of day. However, we're also available to be reached. So want to tell us first, you're with Purpose Realty. You all are on Hill Street in Springfield. What about your phone number?
Oh, my phone number is 615-689-0428. And you are also able to reach the office at 615-380-8158.
Okay, perfect. So everybody, after watching this video, if you need a house, call Shante. So let's get started. The path to home ownership, everybody talks about it's kind of a journey, and it's different for everybody. But number one step, of course, is get pre-qualified. Sometimes you don't know that there's this little 4-year-old thing on your credit that's really dragging you down that you could pay off and boost your score, or you don't know that taking this job could be good for your future to buy a home, or if you go a different route in a job, you got to wait a year at minimum. So having that conversation and starting early is always a good move. So for pre-qualified, I do want to distinguish, there's actually pre-qualified and pre-approved. So pre-qualified is I can take your debts, your income, what money you have saved up, just information that you're telling me, and do some calculations and say, if all of these things are true and assuming this, then you would qualify for about $300,000 worth of home or $400,000 worth of home. So that's what I call a qualification. But a pre-approval takes that a couple steps further, where we get all of the details, actually pull some credit, verify income documents, ask questions that may arise from that, even goes through bank statements a little bit in detail. I think people feel like it's a little bit invasive and intrusive to do that. And I think that there's a lot of people who actually hold back from going through the pre-approval process because of this. But it is no judgment. It is no cost, it's no pressure with me. It is simply, we have to look at the whole picture. Somebody is considering lending you a large amount of money, so we have to do that, very detailed digging. But at that point, you know what you're qualified for, where you're comfortable with your payment and what you're comfortable spending, and you can go out shopping with confidence. So that's the pre-approval process. And then I guess the fun stuff then comes when pre-approved, realtors want to talk to you.
That is true. But just to double back on what you said, you're going to meet somebody where they're at, view what you see, and go forward to that pre-approval. And I feel like there is a lot of fear, or maybe that's my personal opinion. People fear finding out where they are, and they don't look to see that first before they can figure out where they want to be at. They just want the mansion. They don't think about what they can afford, how much is going to be lended. Do they have a lender who's going to work with them? But you yourself are going to meet them where they're at, see what we got going on,
Amen.
and we're going to move forward.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Love it. Love it.
It's a beautiful first step when you think about it.
It is. And even if it takes a long time, you know, I worked with one gentleman for 11 months before he was ready, but he did the things and he was coming back from a lot. So it was just such a cool process. We would check in every 4 to 6 weeks. What's going on? What's new? Staying where you are? Got a raise? Did this? So it can be a journey. And other times one of the first deals I actually did, a friend of mine called me up and she said, my dream house has hit the market and I don't think we can afford it, but can you check? They could. They found out they could, and less than 40 days later, they were there.
Awesome.
So it could go either way. But yeah, that's a great point. Thanks for circling back. So pre-approved, and then on that real estate side, what's going on for the next steps?
The next step would be finding out your must-haves, having a conversation about what you're looking for, what area you want to be in, how much space you need, how much space you want the house to have, the land, just everything of your dreams that you want to. And then maybe have a conversation about what's reality is, what's out there, what's truly important, what things can we really have happen. You know, your dream home is out there, but for myself personally, when I first found my first dream home after going through that process of pre-approval, it didn't quite work out, to be honest, because the location was horrible. But it had the land, it had the house, but it had a double wide trailer on it. And that just wasn't what I was looking for. So I seen the vision, but ultimately I didn't go that way because that wasn't the reality of what I was needing. I actually ended up somewhere completely different, to be honest.
Yeah, you never know, but you wouldn't know what to search for or what, kind of negotiations or plans you needed to build in there. It's all kind of a keep on going, keep on taking that next step and see what happens.
It is. I mean, it's a beautiful journey. It's just like a plant. You start off with a seed and it's just traveling and growing and blooming into something really beautiful. But, you just have to kind of go through this process. And it is a fun one, to be honest. Like, I feel like this is the fun part. We're going to go view properties. We're going to go see what works for us and what we want. We're going to negotiate and see if we can come to terms with the seller of the home and submit an offer, which is great. If we found that dream home, let's submit an offer and move forward. That would be the ultimate step right there, but it may be a process getting there, which is okay. We can grow and learn from it, but ultimately that's what we're going to go through.
Hey, and then submitting that offer, negotiations with the seller, and then once we're under contract, then next steps. Actually, there's two for me. There's one on my side, and I think there's one on your side. They both involve inspections. And I think I have a video out there somewhere about how many times you hear the word inspections during a home ownership journey. You're ordering a home inspection for the home, right? In most cases.
Yes.
Yeah. So going through a home inspection on that side, and I'll just note right here that a lot of people would say, as soon as you go under contract, you order the appraisal. Well, the appraisal has an inspection also, but these inspections are very different for everybody listening. My portion would be to order an appraisal, which is solely focused on the soundness of the property, that it's structural, that it's safe, that it's livable, and that it is at the value of the amount of money being loaned to you. So for a little bit of color around that, appraisals also have a fee with them. So personally, the way that I like to work is when working with a realtor like Shante, when you go under contract with that client, I know you're probably going to do that home inspection first. So I tend to actually wait for a minute, make sure you all do your thing, that there's not anything like, whoa, we just found like a massive hole in the floor held together with duct tape, or, whatever, being dramatic. So tell us a little bit about your inspection process.
For me personally, when I was going through my home ownership, my inspection process would be a little different from some, I would say, because I ended up doing a new build. So therefore, the inspector had to come out during the process of the house being built to make sure that certain guidelines were being met and that the home was ultimately safe. Now, I did order one towards the end because I wanted to make sure that my house was inspected prior to move-in. But I was told that it was ultimately up to me. But hey, I wanted to do it because even though I believe everyone was doing their best, I felt that this person was going to do their best to make sure that I came into a home that was not perfect, but
there's no such thing. There's no such thing.
They no bells were ringing in their ears. Things were done properly. So I truly believe in it from a standpoint of, yes, I went with an inspection, even though as a new build, I had the option.
Mm-hmm. After that home inspection, there could be opportunities for repairs, which is very much a Shante will help you negotiate everything.
Yes, that would definitely be down into negotiation when going back over the contract and seeing what could be submitted and what would be approved. That's when you can get certain concessions and things from the seller to take care of those things. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, honestly, that it's another fun part, not a part for you to worry about, just a part that we know this was brought up and we're going to take care of it and we're going to move forward and get the ball rolling on the best way to take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up a really great point that a lot of borrowers I work with, when it gets to that home inspection period and they feel like they've got to request some things, I don't really know what goes on in the details of that. But I know it usually comes back with, oh, we found something terrible and we have to renegotiate. Great. You might get a lower price. You might get repairs out of it. So, it's good that you pointed out it's a point of negotiation, or can be. And then, so I will order the appraisal. I do like for the borrower to feel safe from their home inspection before spending that money, basically. Mm-hmm. Appraisal comes back, and all the while you're back and forth on the home inspection. On the loan side, we are completing anything, answering any questions that may come up from the underwriter, sending it through processing, getting all the verifications, ordering title work. There's a whole lot of behind the scenes things that happen. And in a perfect world, which we know it's not always perfect, but it generally marches out to, once we've gotten through that inspection, that appraisal has come in, it's at value. At that point, we should be able to pull together a full loan approval. Loan approvals can come in twos where we get a preliminary and maybe it's conditional on, hey, you don't have the appraisal yet. But once that loan approval process is in place, that is just golden. It's beauty. And I do tell everybody, like, that's okay. Don't, celebrate just yet, or don't be down. But until we have that loan approval and somebody's at the closing table signing, there's always that minimal risk that something weird could happen. Like, really? You bought a car? Okay, never mind. You changed jobs. Wait, we got to rethink this whole thing. But yeah, it's always an adventure. So from loan approval, we verify that you've got homeowners insurance. We work up the final package worth of documents. We send those out. You sign them. That is kind of a timeline thing that I like to make everybody aware of also. Approval to the closing department. All of the final numbers get tallied out. Taxes are prorated, insurance is accounted for, everything's set up to go. The closing disclosure has to go to the person buying the home 3 days prior to closing. So that's just another thing that you are building into timelines. We're building into timelines. But once that closing package is sent, closing can be scheduled and you're there with keys.
That is amazing. I think the one thing that keeps popping up as we're having this conversation that I want to make sure that is ringing to everybody is that it's important to have a great relationship with your lender and your realtor, because clearly we're going to walk you through a process and it's going to be amazing. And we're going to be on a path. And it might get a little rocky. It might get a little narrow, might get a little uncomfortable sometimes, but ultimately we're going to bring you through to the other end. Like there's going to be light at the end of this tunnel. It's going to be okay. And I think it's just great to have those relationships just based off of it, because it's a process.
It is. But another phrase that's come up as we've been talking, it's a beautiful journey. Yeah. Like you said, it might get rocky at times, but it's a beautiful journey. And the end result is absolutely great.
Yeah. And we'll never leave you behind. I think that's another good thing. Like, we'll never just be like, well, this is what's going on. See you later. No,
Amen.
We're involved.
Yeah. Oh,
we're friends now.
We're invested. Yeah.
Yeah. We want to see you succeed. And it's not about what we get at the end. It's about what you get at the end. A house will never be sold that you don't want.
Yes.
You're not going to get something that you don't want. And if you ever, in any situation with me, Stephanie, or anyone, feel like you're getting something you don't want, then you need to self-evaluate and do what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, it's about what you're needing.
I love that. Great reminder.
Yeah.
Any additional ones you can think of to remind potential future home buyers?
Potential future home buyers. I mean, honestly, just you're not alone. It's a beautiful journey. And we are here to help you from point A to point B. And we're happy to help. Like, these smiles aren't fake. This situation's not, we're not putting on a front for you. This is us being realistic, making sure that you have information that, maybe you weren't privy to have a conversation at the table and talk about it. Maybe this conversation is not happening at work or at your school or anywhere else. For me personally, I didn't learn these things until I stepped into this world. So I understand how big of a gap it could be with you not being knowledgeable. And it's important to have people surrounding you who not only want to educate you, they want to empower you, and they want what's best for you. But you have to know what's best for you. Don't feel like you're being pushed and pressured into a situation. You have to know what's best for you.
Yes. I love that.
Thank you.
That. Great addition, Shante. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning. We'll make sure and get this as some education. And anybody out there who's thinking about taking the journey, I would also just add, it's one step. It's a phone call. Walk through that. It's no pressure. And the more you know, the more power you have in the future to walk that journey well. So we would love to chat with you again. I'm Stephanie Fields with Mortgage Investors Group, and
I am Shante Blunt with Purpose Realty and Auction, and I am for sure you will be seeing more of us.
Amen. Yes. All right, Shante. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.